Three,
All right.
two.
Welcome to Comics in the Making.
I
My
was
name
trying
is
to
Ryan
count you
Holgerson.
down.
I'm the creator of Slackmatic.
God, I was
What?
trying to
Oh.
count.
How dare you interrupt my intro?
I was trying to count you down because I made some sound right, like right as you were starting.
All right. Count me in. Now I'm all nervous. Oh, okay. I'm ready.
One, two.
Welcome to Comics in the Making. My name is Ryan Holgerson. I'm the creator of Slackmatic, and I'm joined, as always, by Levi Erickson, the creator of The Big. Levi, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I am excited to talk today.
Hell yeah. So start talking. What are you talking about? What are we
All right.
talking about, Levi?
All right, cool. We're talking about comics. We're talking about making comics. We're talking about comics that are in process. We're talking about ideas going through the transition to a finished product. It's comics in the making. Didn't he just tell you that?
Yeah, I
Catch
did.
up.
I
Catch
know.
up.
I'm sorry. God,
Not you,
oh,
them.
go.
Them.
Nope.
You're
No.
good. I'm talking to them. Catch up with us. If we weren't clear before, this is comics in the making.
So Levi, you were telling me that you were taking advantage of some of these 3-day weekends uh the past few weeks to kind of restructure your day for like working on the big and shit like that. So like what were you doing to
Yeah,
get more productive?
yeah, so I felt like I was playing whack-a-mole with my time. I knew I needed to keep pushing, forward with writing, with art, the artwork, getting issue number one ready for print. And I would just kind of like shotgun what I was doing when I would have my time to sit down and start, you know, delegating, where my effort's going to go. And although I made, small, steps in progress, I didn't feel like I was getting where I wanted to be. So I just stopped and tried to figure out where I was, what I was missing. And what I actually did was just stop and think about if I could do comics for a living, if that was my job, then how would I structure my day exactly? And not just around comics, but kind of everything else. I've got a family, I've got kids, and how would I involve all those things to get the most out of it? And
Right.
so the strategy I came up with was, blocking out times to do certain things. I didn't get too specific with what I wanted to do, but I wrote down the agenda for the end of the 3-day weekend that we had recently. And although I didn't do every single thing that I had kind of lined out throughout the entire time frame, my my production and my goals were well with what I hoped to achieve for that time period. And as a result, I've got the big issue one. It's going to print as we speak. I've got issue two, 7 pages of it scripted out. So I can commence, you know, uh doing the artwork on those pages as I go. I got another weekend's obviously coming up as we record. So I'm going to keep the same template and then try to fill in those gaps or try to improve where I think I fell short previously. But it's all just about thinking about how you're structuring your days. Um, when you're working the day job, when you have a demanding day job, it can be very tough to come home and start to, do, be productive. And that's kind of where I was, falling short, where I was losing ground, as it were. So the goals I have throughout the week I've now changed. They're not as big. They're not as demanding, and they don't keep me sequestered, away from the family as much, which was kind of like what would happen.
Right.
So I'm still in the beginning stages of this new, pivot but I feel very good about. I'm already seeing results. I'm already seeing, you know, progress that before would have taken me two, three times the time to achieve. So I feel great about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Are you so like are you keeping like a planner or something like that or a calendar and like listing like here's what I want to do at the end of this week, or is it just kind of in the back of your head like this is my goal?
yeah, not as formal yet. You know, I've got my paper right here. This is where I keep the notes for the show, and this is also where I scribble notes about what I want to do the next. I kind of write down the next time I sit down. This is what you need to do, but a more defined planner, you know, like I just mentioned, days off need to look like this, and then, you know, the work week, these are the things that you sprinkle in there in between those massive pushes. And the cool thing is, it's not that I'm just working all day on my days off. By having a structure and having goals outlined, I actually have more time to do things, you know, later on in the day. Um, I can watch movies again. I can watch shows. You know, this wonderful
Yeah.
Tubi that's out there that is like I just now became aware of. I'm like, holy crap. Cancel everything else. Cancel Disney Plus, cancel cancel, you know, Netflix. I don't know the last time I watched anything on any of those things. Cancel Hulu. Keep Amazon Prime. That's part of the whole like ordering thing, I think. Um,
Yeah.
but Tubi's got everything that I would ever want to see.
Tubi has this is I'm okay. We're just talking about Tubi the rest of the show.
Mhm.
This is funny because I've known about Tubi for a while, but I was watching Tubi last night while I was working.
Nice.
Um and they've got a ton of great like horror and cult movies and stuff like seen Lair of the White Worm.
Nice.
Have you ever seen Lair of the White Worm?
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Okay. If people haven't seen that movie, it's one of Hugh Grant's first movies, one of Peter Capaldi's first movies. It is just
Yeah,
B
it's wild.
movie heaven. It's so great. Um, and then I was also watching. I didn't finish it because it was getting late, but I was watching the Dunwich Horror, which is a H.P. Lovecraft adaptation.
Nice.
And that's on Tubi.
Nice.
So I was watching that too, and that's also some real cheesy uh 70s uh horror movie.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah,
no, there's some great stuff on there.
Transformers, you know, G1 Transformers cartoon. Uh
Uh-huh.
G.I. Joe, which I mean you can get G.I. Joe streaming from Hasbro channel, I
Yeah.
think on YouTube.
Yeah.
But Transformers is the one that's harder to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Um the Alf animated series.
Oh man.
If you didn't see the Alf animated series that came I remember watching it Saturday mornings in the very early 90s after graduating high school. And
Yeah.
it land I think it has legs to reach 2024 where the sitcom, the TV network sitcom does not. Um
Yeah.
that's I hate to say I love Alf, you know, but it just even nostalgia for me, the Alf sitcom just doesn't get here to where I am now, you know.
I haven't rewatched it since I was a kid. Um, I mean, I have fond memories of it, watching it when I was little, like the sitcom. Um, I
Yeah.
can't remember if I watched the show or the cartoon or not. I'm
Dude,
sure I watched it a little bit.
dude,
Uh,
it was so cool and it had more pop culture references. It was much more immediate. And at
yeah,
the end of every episode, they had like an SNL like in credits, all the cast animated, just kind of swaying to the music playing them out, you know. I can't
Yeah.
remember if they had like a Don Pardo-esque voiceover, taking them out or not,
Yeah.
but it was aware of when it was being created, which I
Right.
thought was one of the good things. Also, now that we're just down this rabbit hole, fuck comics for the rest of this
Right.
episode.
Yeah.
But also on Saturday mornings in that time period was Tasmania.
Oh
You
man.
remember Tasmania?
Oh yeah. Oh, I love Tasmania. I
Dude,
love Tasmania.
and it had all that stuff built into it, like the guy who I can't remember who it was, but he did the voiceovers for the orange juice commercials.
Yeah.
And was always like, "Oh, have a frosty glass of OJ." He was a
Yeah.
voice actor on that show, and there was an
Yeah.
episode I remember where he's like wrapping up the episode for everyone. I
Yeah.
got everyone to safety, and we all had a frosty glass of OJ. Like he did his line from the famous commercial that
It was his, it was Taz's dad. Taz's
yeah,
dad loved OJ. That was
yeah,
it.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
he
But
loved it.
th-
He loved OJ. Yeah.
but that was the voice actor who did the
Yeah.
voiceover for like Tropicana or whatever,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and they parlayed that into the Tasmania.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those so here I can bring us back to comics because
Oh,
um
good.
the
Well, I
cart
think
the
Alf
cart
had a comic book on Star, which was a Marvel, like, under the
oh
Marvel umbrella. So go.
yeah.
With that segue, go.
Well, so I can't speak to the Alf comic, but I can speak to there's a lot of cartoons from the 90s which still continue to be inspiration for what I'm doing right now. Um
Okay.
for sure Tasmania is kind of one of them. Uh Probably the most would be like DuckTales,
Oh
um
yeah.
Tailspin. I love Tailspin. These kind of just one and done, adventure stories, which is really what I've been doing lately with my work. I mean, for the last few years, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it was, it was that without me knowing that, those DuckTales shows were all based on Carl Barks, Donald Duck comics and stuff like that, which then sent me down that rabbit hole and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, no, there's really something about those 90s comic or 90s cartoons that I
Yeah.
still try and bring into my comic book work today.
Yeah. It,
Um,
it,
so
it's
yeah,
it's kind
no,
of
I
like
love it.
100%. And now that you mentioned, I can definitely see where that seeps into your body of work. And
Yeah,
and what better place to draw some inspiration, or to, kind of like, yeah, that's it. That's the story I'm telling. Um, than some of those things. I mean, although they were marketed to younger kids, I mean, shit, you watch them today. I mean, all those things have legs. Darkwing,
oh yeah,
Tailspin, um, they are fun, and the animation's great.
Animaniacs.
Oh, dude, I tried showing Animaniacs to my kids, and it
Yeah,
floored them.
yeah,
It's so beyond of what's expected. Um, and I will say though, it floored them, but they weren't like totally, oh, this is great. I want all this. They were like, wow, I don't know, that might be a lot.
yeah,
Maybe I'll just watch another episode of Jesse.
yeah. Well, the problem I will say with Animaniacs is I mean it's really funny and stuff like that, but it's also very topical. So
Yeah, yeah,
or if you were in that age and that was you, and us being as old as we are going back and watching it, we still get those jokes.
right.
Now, I mean, they used to throw in like, characters of like Jay Leno and stuff
Hmm.
like that. Now a kid, I mean, Jay Leno hasn't been on TV in forever. So I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna see that and they're gonna be like, what the hell? Who's this guy? So there'd be a lot of stuff over their head.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and Tiny Toon Adventures was the same way.
oh
Um,
man, that was a good show too.
very good, very good.
Down the hole. Oh my God.
Down
Yeah,
the down the down the
Oh,
bunny hole, Babs in the
dude, I could not. The first time I saw that episode with whatever it was, the
Oh,
little
the baby duck.
baby with, yeah, and it goes down the hole. I could not stop laughing. It was the funniest fucking thing I'd ever
Water
seen
go
when I was
down
that
the
age. And I said,
hole.
"Oh my God, I loved it so much." And you know, it caught on with a bunch of people because they did
Oh, dude,
several
it
more
was a catchphrase,
episodes
man.
of it.
Oh yeah,
They did a bunch, you
yeah.
know. Oh, it was so great.
Oh yeah. I mean, 90s cartoons, man.
Oh man. Well, and and I think what's great about it for us, like I said, for me, where I'm taking some of that nostalgia and incorporating it into my work, but at the same time, I don't think my work necessarily smacks of like this is where the inspiration is coming from. To try and
No,
get the nostalgia hit, Um, that but uh, that's definitely like you hit on it earlier, like with like fun. It's just fun,
yeah.
and that is like that's my goal with my comics and my work is fun. I want people to you know laugh and have a good time for the few minutes that they're reading my work every week.
Oh, dude.
And and
It
that's the same feeling I got from those 90s cartoons and stuff like that when I was a kid. And that's where I want to bring that into my work. Is the and that's I'm trying to that's the same sort of thing of like you could just jump in and watch an episode of any of those cartoons that we just
right.
mentioned, and you don't have to know anything about the characters or what happened before or what happened after. You
Yep.
can just jump in and just enjoy that episode for what it is. And that's always been my goal with my comics currently is that you can just jump in and just enjoy it. And I get a lot of comments about that of people going, I'm glad, like, I don't have to know shit about these characters. I already just know what I need to know jumping in, you know? The whole Jim Shooter, everybody's comic could be the first comic, could be their
Me,
first comic.
meanwhile, I wrote a comic about Bigfoot that in the first 22 pages, there is no Bigfoot. You have to, it's all build up. It's all build up the next,
Well, it's different. It's different. It's
It's a
different
different approach. It's a
when you're
different
telling
approach.
when you're telling like a big long story though. I mean, it's different, you know.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, and but even if you're in a story arc, you make it welcoming. If someone jumps in, they missed issue one, they're in issue two. You know, you can make that jump in, and that's I think what Shooter was trying to you know some of the best story arcs were under his watch in Marvel Comics, and you could still jump into the middle of the story arc and not be totally left behind. And part of the the thing was I need to track down the issues that came before, and grab those up.
Yeah,
Um, and so there's room for it all, and a lot of those cartoons were created with the understanding they'd go into syndication and
yeah,
that they'll get played out of order, or maybe not even all of them will get played. um which is with the X-Men cartoon, they followed, it was like a linear storytelling device that when it did go into syndication, it was confusing because they just would drop it, whatever episode, and the way they were produced and written, that you might watch one of the Dark Phoenix Saga ones, and then you might watch the Night of the Sentinels, at the mall with Meet and Jubilee the next episode.
yep,
um so there's different ways to approach it. I think Batman the Animated Series may have had some part one and part twos, but most of those were self-contained stories
yeah.
that you could just enjoy. A lot of television was written that way, even
I mean, yeah,
even
no, yeah. I
still,
mean, yeah.
just for that purpose.
Well, and I think I don't know if we've talked about it on the episodes. I know me and you have talked about it at least one off, but
It's hard to keep
Batman.
track of which is which.
Right. But I mean, Batman is the
Mm.
perfect, just the perfect animated series. And for me, I mean, it's the perfect Batman. I mean, that's
Yeah.
still going to be my favorite Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, share your thoughts in the comments about that one. Um,
I mean,
because it'd be interesting to see what people have to say about that. I guess we're talking about cartoons now. We're talking about animated cartoons in
yeah,
this episode. And I'm trying to bring it back. You asked me about, sort of my progress and my um, kind of way of doing things. I want to turn that back on you because I know that for a fact that you have had a very prosperous first couple weeks of 2024.
yeah. Yeah, 28 pages so far for this month. Um, so I can't. I was thinking about it today. I can't remember like what my biggest output's ever been as far as comics, like in a month.
Yeah.
Um, I've probably done 28 before in a month. Um, but that was probably 20 years ago or longer than that. So when I was a young man. Uh,
You're still a young man.
in recent memory though, yeah, okay. But in recent memory, yes, this has been my most productive month in years. Um,
Oh,
so I think my first month of doing Page of Things, I did a Page of Things every single day. So I had like 30 some uh Page of Things for a month.
nice.
Um, but even then that was 30 some. So I mean, yeah. So assuming I get a story done for next week, this January is going to be my most productive month ever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. And
Yeah.
that's, off to a good start, for 2024. Um, I'm excited. Like I say, I am about to pull the trigger on the big issue one for printing. I I'm using Comics Wellspring once again for the full size floppy, and
Uh-huh.
they I have 22 pages of story, and they allow for either a 20-page book or a 24-page book, and then a lot, on either side of those. So I have to fill 2 pages with
Right.
something else. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do like an editorial, almost like a bulletins page and a sketchbook page. Building those two are the last thing that I've got to do before I you know click boom, make the
Yeah.
comic book. Um and I'm really excited about that. That will be done this weekend. Yeah, so I think it's probably good to cut it while we still have a connection at this point. Um but a lot of good stuff
Yeah.
happening. I'm stoked.
Well, awesome. I mean, it's so great to hear that you're, figuring out a process and stuff
Mhm.
to get stuff done. Um, I'm still banging it out.
Hell
Uh,
yeah. Banging
you
it
know,
out.
well, I'll tell you. So here's and I know we're gonna sign off. But what's I think I mentioned this when I said, hey, here's what I'm gonna try and do is a story every week and stuff like that. And what was really concerning me was like getting books ready and stuff like that. And so I've had a small collection in mind um that I want to get into print like soon. Like I want to have it available for like Matthew's Comic Con coming up in
Yeah.
March and stuff like that. Uh so that's where I've been having issues is okay, well, I'm doing a story every single week. Now I've got to find the time to also do a cover and put this all together
Yeah.
and get it all formatted and stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure out that part and I I mean, the problem is I feel like I'm just about utilizing all the time I have right now. You know what I mean? Like I don't like I think it's great that you've been able to like rearrange stuff and you're like, all right, and I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna help me because I'm already
Yeah, I think you probably have already a good template for your day, for your
yeah, no, I really have I've gotten into a really good habit and I've got a really good structure going
mm,
for getting what I'm doing done. And if that's all I had to do, that would be fine. And now where I'm having the issue is doing this extra stuff, wanting to get a
yeah,
book together and stuff like that. So um I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. So I've this collection that I'm wanting to do is going to be like 64 pages.
nice.
Um, and but doing that means I have to actually fill up like 9 pages. Um, and I have the stories for that. I haven't drawn them yet. So what I might do is do those stories and just not post publicly that week.
Gotcha.
So technically, because I want these to be like unique to the book, you know. Um,
Yeah,
so that way I'm still technically doing my stories a week. It's just not for the, you know, general population. It'll
yeah,
be for the people that buy the book or subscribe to my Patreon or whatever.
exactly.
So that might be what I have to do. I'm just trying to time it out because I really do want to keep going public while I can, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that's working out really well for you.
Yeah, no, it has. And so it's like I don't want to stop, just because I'm trying to get this book together.
Yep.
Because technically, the book can wait, you know.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah. And I'm also, you know what, we'll talk about this offline. I want to run something by you. I want to see what you think. So,
Cool.
um, and now the internet sucks again. All right, no.
Yeah, it's just
All
not
right.
not
Just do the damn thing.
that's it. That's it. You got it out. Hell yeah.
Yeah.